with more and more higher education institutions offering the instructional program in the local or Indian language. Try to understand this. What they are planning is that phasing out the single specialized institutions and emergence of multidisciplinary universities and colleges, the distribution in different remote areas also, that each and every new corner of the country will have HEI, that we are going for a cluster of education system that will be multidisciplinary. We are going to have a distribution of education institution at different parts of the country. If not there, already there, but if not there, then new will be opened up that. And third thing is that we are, for the focusing on each and every learner, we are trying to use the local languages or Indian languages for their learning process or teaching process or education process. What I call is that the whole soul, Atma of the whole system is that flexibility. Because until you provide autonomy, the creativity doesn't come out, the innovation doesn't come out. So flexibility provides autonomy, provides the power of thinking, power to take decision. So that is why the flexibility is given a very important part in this education policy. So learners may choose their learning trajectories and programs. As I told you, if a person wants to have major in physics, he can choose that. Secondary, he will have music or sports or yoga or Sanskrit or whatever it may be. So this is based on his own choice. This is not imposed by the system. If it is his own choice, certainly it is from his own potential. If it is from his own potential, he will try to excel himself. And with the part of the education system, we will have the better results. So that's why this flexibility is the soul of the entire policy, which I consider at least. We are giving flexibility for students. Then it is the learner who will become a scholar. It is the learner who will become citizen. So everything should be learner-centric, of course, with the background of national requirement, a national development program. But learner is at the center. So if we take the interest of the learner, so certainly we will reach the more and more success in less and less time, less and less effort. That's why it is flexibility. So the universities are will be designed or will be structured to open different things. IITs, they were initially for only engineering, but they came to MBA, they came to humanities. Now they are teaching yoga also. They are going to teach arts, different literature also. That means that slowly they will come to art, dance, music, etc., and all that. This is not only IIT. All HEIs, they will emerge as multidisciplinary institutions with departments of language, literature, music, philosophy, Sanskrit, statistics, and many other things. Economic, sports, these things will be established and strengthened and established, because the learner should have facility, they should have choice at this place where he wants to learn, where he is learning. So he will decide his major, he will decide his minor. If it is not available, then he will have option to go for online also, distance learning also. Of course, distance learning will be restricted, because not all HEIs will be allowed to run the distance learning. It will depend on their grade, their power, their potential, and many things that will give the guideline. Who fulfill the guideline, they will be allowed to go for open distance learning process. But open and distance learning will also be equivalent to the normal learning. There will be no distinction. The students, if somewhere he is there that these things he wants, he is not available, he will go for open distance learning. He can have my major subject here, minor he can have from there, and finally the all credit will be merged and put together. So that is a thing that this will be a major credit transfer system, institutional, interinstitutional, or inter-subject, interdisciplinary, everything. So that is why everything will be based on the credit system. That it will be, all things can be added depending on the time when he achieves this credit, the subject from where it achieved the credit. So where it will be any subject, any corner of the country. If this is transferable, then he can get credit from here, and the final credit will be added to give him degree or diploma or whatever it may be. So that's why the credit will be given in all bachelor degree programs in this subject. In this subject means sports, yoga, science, education, mathematics, arts, everything. Whatever is there, they will be given certain credit depending on the level of courses, and the learner will have this credit after successful completion of the courses, and these credits will be taken into account while allowing him degree or granting a degree for different purpose. So this is the very gist of the health system, that the learner is the king here, because he will think, he will decide, he will do everything. Certainly it is going to make wonders, because if learner is the king, he will learn more and more by his own interest, and the country will get more and more benefit by the learner interest. So that is why I consider it is a very important thing. Then of course the holistic education, we discussed already. The holistic education is this education which is holistic in view, which has everything. It has a subject, you have a moral, it have a character, it have a passion, feelings of rich and for poor person, for love towards nature, and many other things. If we consider what in India we consider is that all the Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, this is not only the people and people. Everything which is present on the earth is our kutum. But the kutum means we are having respect for all, everything, each and everything. So that is why if we want to have holistic education, we have to inculcate a system where we are able to respect each and everything. So if we have a respect of everything, we have knowledge of everything, then this is a kind of true citizenship. So this is not national citizenship, this will be a global citizenship. So that's why the entire education is designed, planned, envisioned to have a education to create knowledgeable society, They should have a knowledge, and competitive. That means how I can become better than others. This is competitive, not revenge. Not revenge. This is competition. So this is competition with good spirit, with a sportsman spirit. So this should be knowledgeable, this should be competitive, and then innovative. How best I can do it, how best it can be done, how best the whole system can run. So knowledgeable, competitive, and innovative. This is global citizen with Indian values and traditions. Global citizen means, I told you, we are making our people Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam sense of thing. So our people will be knowledgeable, our people will be competitive, our people will be innovative, yet full of Indian values and traditions. Indian values and traditions. I don't have to define the Indian values and tradition. We all will all have with us. So basic thing is that the Indian value and tradition provide the core, and then the knowledge, the competition, innovation is the periphery. So this is all concentric rings. So we have to evolve out of this Indian values and tradition, go to the outer periphery, then further outer periphery, and then it becomes the global citizen. So that is why from the center, we migrate towards periphery, the first circle, the second circle, third circle, fourth circle, and like that. So this, even in SDG 4 also, the concept of global citizenship education, or we call GCED, is to understand the global issue and become active promoters. Global issues, whatever the global issue existing or will exist in future also. Whatever has existed in the past, what is existing now, what will exist in the future. So to understand the global issues and become active promoters. Remember, promoters, you have to promote, you have to do it. More peaceful, that is a conflict resolution, maybe border conflict, maybe water conflict, maybe family conflict, maybe society conflict, whatever conflict it may be, it should be more peaceful, tolerant. We must be tolerant. Not that I am the boss. I am the boss. What I am saying is right. No, we have to be tolerant. We have to be tolerant toward others. Inclusive. Again, the word comes inclusive. That means taking care of entire thing, the entire domain, entire gamut of things. This is inclusive. Secure. Things should be secured. It should not destroy in an easy stroke. It should be secured. And it should be perennial. That is sustainable. What are these things? This society. The thing is that we are going to develop a society which will understand the global issue and become peaceful, tolerant, inclusive, secure, and sustainable. If all these things are put into the society, what else we need? This is what the National Education Policy 2020 wants or directs us. So we as a teacher, we have to understand that how this we can take this philosophy, how we can take this verdict or the sayings to the people, to the system, to HEI. Then this one thing is yet there. Normally we see that boys are passing from the engineering college, they don't know how to make a school driving or something like that. Not like that for all the colleges, but sometimes people say that. It is only because we are not focusing on the practical knowledge, we are mostly putting on the theoretical knowledge. So that's why the very important concept here is that each and every student will have to undergo internship. This internship may be in local industry, maybe a good farmhouse, maybe a farmer, or maybe with a teacher or professor who is doing high level research, wherever it may be, he must go internship. That means he is able to know what he is knowing and what he wants to know and how the things go. So that's why internship is very much necessary. Internship is not only to getting marks, internship is to expose yourself toward the things which you know or which we don't know. So getting Atma Gyan and learning, enriching ourselves, making ourselves powerful, making ourselves strong in the subject for which you want to do. So that's why internship has been taken as a very important part, very compulsory part, integral part of the education system, education in this new education, national education policy. So that's why, which maybe I told you, this can be research internship with the professor, with the institution, with other things, or it can be internship with the industry, maybe society, maybe NGO, wherever it may be. But every aspect of society where people are working, which is contributing to development of the society, which is contributing to the knowledge of the society, the internship can be taken up there. So it will be depending on the choice of the student and also with the HEIs. So this is also a very important thing, is that this internship is there. That means the learner will have practical knowledge of the thing what he is learning in classroom or other ways of learning. As I told you that the best, most important thing is that this is learner-centric whole system. So this is looking for the unique capability of learner. That means every learner, I told you the first sloka which I found from somewhere in the internet, that every man has potential, every human has potential, but he doesn't know what potential he has. Even we know that even Hanumanji has to be told that, okay, you can cross the seas, and then he crossed it. Like that. So capability is there. We have to nourish it. We have to take it out. We have to let the learner know that it is your capability. You know this, you nourish it, take it further and make it your life. Make it for the benefit of others. So that's why this education policy lays particular emphasis on the development of the creative potential of each individual. I told you in almost all slides, this part is inherent there. That each and every learner's potential is to be nourished, identified, and developed. And for that, what is there? 3 steps are identified. The first is that the foundational capacity of literacy and numeracy. Foundational, the conceptual, I told you, foundational, basic, very basic of literacy. That means Akshar Gyan, knowledge, literature, subject, Hindi, English, literature, Marathi, Malad, whatever be literature, history. All subjects, whatever this, all subjects, science, arts, commerce, liberal arts, everything. And numeracy, that means calculative part, the mathematics, statistics, computer, integration, all that. So literacy and numeracy, one which plays with the numbers, one which plays with the alphabets. So there are 2 different classes for this knowledge system. One is the literacy part, other is the numeracy part. So both part, the conceptual understanding of both the parts must be there. So this education system looks into that the capability, if not there, we have to develop its capability for the foundational capacity of literacy and numeracy. Then second thing is that cognitive capacity. Cognitive capacity, Sherlock Holmes and many things, that how to interpret things, how to know things, the reading between the lines, to know about unknown things. So this cognitive capacity of critical thinking and problem solving. What for our education system is there? Education system is there to think which is not known as yet, to find which is unknown. This is research. This is research that we know, that nobody knows that we have found it out. Now, critical thinking, analytical thinking, that we have to find out the knowledge domain which is not available. And that this knowledge would be there to solve the problem. whether this problem is existing or problem that will come. We are talking about global warming. We are taking it as a problem. We are doing so many things for today. We are doing so many things for 20 hours later. That means problem solving is not only for today. It is an ongoing process. The problem may keep on coming, but the knowledge should be there that it should keep on solving. So that's why there must be an ability and capacity of critical thinking and the problem solving abilities. So this is foundational capacity of literacy and numeracy. I told you the related to the alphabet, related to the numbers. He should be able to do things, that is applied part, theoretical part, everything, and then he should be able to think above what he has learned. That is critical thinking, above thinking, super thinking, and then he should be able to apply all these things for the problem solving attitude of society or the nation. And then all these things should be integrated, because ultimately it is the value. If there is no value, no literature, no, if there is no value, nothing will happen. There is no difference between animal or man or literate or literate. So this is social, ethical, and emotional. Remember, society has its some norms, some responsibility, some duties, some relationship. All these things are there. Then there are ethics. Everything has ethics, how to behave, what to do, what not to do, do's, don'ts. So these ethics are there, the societal norms and values, ethical norms and values, and the emotional capacity, that means the passion towards others, Raghupati, Raghav, Raja Ram, like that. So that means emotional capability, we must have passion and emotion towards others, those who are in need, we are able to help them. So these capacities should be have, the social, ethical, emotional capacity, and we should be able to dispose it also. We should be willing to dispose it also. We should be ready to dispose it also. Otherwise, it will be with us only. What we will do with these things? Our life is for not only for us. This is for society. This is for the nation. So whatever is with us, it should be optimally used for the development of society and nation. So that's why it should be everything. Knowledge should be focused on societal, ethical, emotional capability, and it should be ready to be disposed of wherever required, wherever is needed. And that this whole thing, that there is no end of the whole things. This learning, I told you. So this is lifelong learning. Already I told you that there will be open and distance learning. This is also given much emphasis on this education policy. So this open distance learning will be for them who are not able to go for the formal type of education, and even those who are already have some education, some learning, now in the middle of their age group, doing some professional service, but want to know something more, then he can join there. And institution, they will be identified, they will be ranked who can run this open distance learning system, so that the quality is maintained, and this quality will be as par excellence with the other regular quality and all that. So this is also there. This will be also accredited. That means open distance learning system also have credit. They will also be having grades, and this grade will be identified and verified by the system, which is meant for the normal system also. So practically there will be no much difference between open distance learning and the normal classroom learning. So they will be trying to make it at par with us. So whole system is that this is learner centric. I repeat it, which is very important, that he should have a learning of literacy and numeracy. He should have capability of critical thinking, problem solving. He should have the values of social, ethical, emotional capability, and he should be ready to use it for the other purpose. And whenever, at what stage of his life he wants to learn, he should be able to get learn through this ODL system. So this is the beauty of the new education system. Then what is the future plan? How it will be achieved? So there are certain things which has been conceived, which is visualized, and action has also been started. So let us go one by one, 5-6 things only. There are so many things, but we will take only very important 5-6 things. The first thing is that the idea is that transforming higher education institution into large multidisciplinary university, college, and HEI clusters. We have already known that the special type of single specialized institutions will be phased out, and it will emerge as a multidisciplinary higher education institution, HEI, whether it is university or college or institution, sansthan like IT, IIM, whatever it may be. So there will be each and every this institution which is imparting higher education will have an objective, an aim and vision to transform itself for the higher education with multidisciplinary facilities. And they will be supported by the government also under this framework of National Education Policy 2020. And then, as I told you, the single stream, that means only medical, only engineering, only pharmacy, will be phased out over the time. And they will move towards becoming vibrant multidisciplinary institution from the part of vibrant. So each single one also, they will ultimately have to emerge for the multi-dimensional, multi-subdisciplinary university. This is a very important thing. That means we don't have the isolated institutions. There will be a cluster, there will be a system like Nalanda, like Takshashila, where a student can learn everything, whatever he wants to know, whether it is music, whether it is dance, whether it is Ayurveda, whether it is astronomy, whether it is mathematics, whatever it may be, he can learn at one place. So that will be multidisciplinary institutions, HEIs, higher education institution. So this is the basic concept. So everything will move towards the multidisciplinary HEI clusters. Okay, and how it will happen? That presently we have deemed to be university, affiliating university, unitary university, these kind of things. All these things will go away. This will be abolished. Nothing will be there, and there will be single word university or HEIs or college. So university, college, or HEI. No, which is not university, which is not college. This is HEI institutions, what you call institutions, like that. So this simple thing. All these words will go away: deemed university, affiliating university, everything will go away. And then we'll have only three things. And that means that, so the target is that by 2040, by 2040, all these things will be achieved by converting all the institutions towards the multidisciplinary institutions. So, we have only 20 years with us. Now we are 2020, almost at the ending phase. So only 20 years to go, that everything has to emerge, it has to be transformed, it has to be converted into the multidisciplinary institutions. So this is a big challenge for all of us, but it is achievable, it is doable. Because we are mostly in the university system. So basically university is a cluster of higher education institutions with different disciplines, multidisciplines, and with students more than 3,000 minimum students, and it have every facility together. Students or learner can have all the subjects, all the courses here only, at the same place only. And university may be of two different types that has been envisioned into this policy. There will be two different types. One will be the research intensive universities. That means those universities which are very good in teaching as well as in research. So they have high level of research, they are good with very good teaching. So if they have both the facility equally good, then they will have a research intensive university. Yet there may be some other universities, they are very good in teaching, but they don't have that much good research contribution and all that. So they will be known as teaching intensive university. They will do research, yes, they will do research, but not maybe equally as teaching and research equal together. So, but they have the time, they have a system, they have a opportunity to change themselves into research intensive universities. It will depend on their achievement, their goal, their system and all that. But basically, university will have two different types. One, research intensive university, other teaching intensive university. And all the university will be classified into these two things only. And similarly for college also, the college will emerge as autonomous college. They will have their own degrees. Now also we have colleges, autonomous colleges, but degree is finally provided by some university and this and that. But they will have an institution of higher institution, education of learning. These colleges will have full power, autonomous. They can have their own degrees. So that's why the colleges concept of autonomous degree granting colleges, that means AC, this has been visualized. So apart from university, the colleges will be there. They will be fully autonomous. They will have their own degrees. They provide everything, but they will also be multidisciplinary, and they will have a equally good, no quality compromise, nothing like that. But they will be there online there. And now one university has lot of affiliated colleges. Some university have constituent colleges. For example, Ranchi University has constituent colleges and all that. But in Madhya Pradesh, we have affiliated colleges. Hardly we have any constituent colleges, one or two and so on, so on. So this affiliated college system will go away. There will be no affiliated college system. Either university will have a constituent college system or college will emerge as a autonomous degree giving colleges. So there will be two different type of colleges. One, the constituent college of the university, which will be a part of university. Everything will be run according to university. You just namesake it is college, because it may be some other location like that, not in the same campus, some other location. But it will be constituent. Everything will be governed by the university. Other will be the college, autonomous colleges. But this all affiliated mushroom type of colleges will go away. Either they will form a cluster of HEIs to develop as a one group, like group 9, group 10, group 11, like that. There will be a possibility that they develop, they combine and make a group and make a good HEI of autonomous and this kind of thing. So basically, the idea is that there will be evolving of university, two type of university. There will be two type of colleges, one autonomous colleges, one the constituent colleges. So we have only 4 different things, two type of university, two type of colleges. How the courses will run. For this also, design is very good. The undergraduate will have either 3 years or 4-year duration. If this is only 3 year, then all teaching and all that. But it is 4 year. The 4th year will be exclusively for research. He or she or every learner will go for research only. The 4th year will be a practical training, either research or internship or something like that. So the 4th year will be exclusively for practical oriented training and with that. But in this 3 year also, there will be multiple exit facility, as in the beginning I told you. Multiple exit facility. That means with respectable degree or diploma or certificate, he can come out after 1 year, after 2 years, or so year. If suppose due to various reason, maybe economic reason, due to social reason, he is not able to continue his study. So he can drop after 1 year and he will have certain recognition, certain kind of certification. That certificate after 1 year, diploma after 2 years, and a bachelor degree after 3-year program. So that means basically program will be of 3 years, but after 1 year completion, he can get certificate. After 2 years, he can have diploma, and after 3 years, he can have degree. So this will be in major also. This can be in minor subject also. So if while he is reaching physics, sports, yoga, and all that, he can have, after 1 year he stops, then he will have certificate in all the 3 things. Then after 2 years, he can have diploma in 3 things. And third, he will have a degree with major in physics and minors all these 2 things. So this is a very good concept, that there is a flexibility of time, depending on learner, flexibility of subject, and that at every stage he is being certified, he is being accredited, that he can go for a job, or he can go for entrepreneurship, he can go for bank loan, or he can go for whatever it may be, because he has some kind of certification. Now what is happening? If boy takes admission in 3-year degree course, until he completes, he is just 12 pass. Until he completes, he is just 12 pass. So at 3 years, he is nowhere except standing. But after 1 year, he will be 12 pass plus certificate holder. After 2 years, he will be 12 pass certificate plus diploma holder. After 3 years, he will 12 pass plus certificate with diploma plus degree holder. So this is the thing, how it is going on this way. A unique thing, very good. And 4th year, I told you that it will be research oriented things. And because this is a very huge idea, very huge program, different subjects, different institutions, they can combine together, they can share, they can mutually interact. So the student or learner can have option to learn one subject from one university, other subject from other university. Now also it is there due to this MOOCs and other SWAYAM and other things they are running out, but it will have in a bigger scale, in a bigger domain. So what will happen then? Some credit he will earn from different universities, some credit he will earn from different universities. So every university will have an academic credit bank of each learner. And every credit he earned and he shows evidences that will be deposited there. And wherever he is getting the final degree, that means this major what is there, so this will be added and he or she will be given the degree on that. So the academic bank of credit shall be established. It is important, because otherwise everything will be mess, because we don't know what he is getting from where and so on and so on. So all the recognized HEIs will be eligible to provide courses, curriculums. These students or learner can get credit from there. This credit will be kept there in the bank, academic bank, and this will be used at the time of giving them degree, diploma, certificate, and whatever it may be. So for graduate degree, we have seen that this can be 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, and all these things from where he or she gets the degree and all that, they will be put in the bank, and finally this will be used for the award of degree. Coming to the postgraduate type, in come to postgraduate, then again there are two types of program. One is 2-year program, one is 1-year program. So those students who are coming 3-year bachelor degree program, after 3-year graduation they have come it, they will have the 2-year master program. In 2-year master program, the second year will be only research, like that. This will be research oriented or applied oriented only. In the first 1-year master degree program, those who have completed 4 year, because 1 year already they have done research. So that means they will be having 1-year master program. So master program will be two. One is 2-year, one is 1 year. 2 year will be for them who have done 3-year graduation, and 1 year will be one who have 4-year graduation. And additional to that, there can be a 5-year integrated bachelor master program. So one goes to 5-year program. So BSc plus MSc. So 4-year BSc, 1 year MSc, 3-year BSc, 2-year MSc. Ultimately, it is 5-year. So it can be a 5-year program also. Third part of this. So masters will be 2 year, 1 year, 5 year. It depending on the background of the learner, from where he is coming. After 3 years he is coming, after 4 years he is coming, or completely 5-year running he is coming. So they will like that. Then PhD. So undertaking a PhD shall require either a master degree or a 4-year bachelor degree. Mind it, either a master degree or a 4-year bachelor degree with research. If a boy or if a student, if a learner completes his bachelor degree, 4-year bachelor degree with 1 year as a research, he will be eligible to go for PhD program. Or else he has to obtain a master degree, whether it is 1-year master or 2-year master. So 1-year master, 2-year master, 5-year master, or 4-year bachelor degree with 1 year research, all are eligible for going to PhD program. This is a major change. Opportunity to bright, intelligent students who just want to go into PhD after BSc only, after 4 years of that, because they have a prior research training for that. And because this is 1 year research training is there in BSc level, in MSc level, so the MPhil program will be discontinued. Because MPhil itself was pre-PhD program, that is the research methodology and all that. No need of that. Already they have done it in BSc level or MSc level. So MPhil program will be discontinued. So we will have bachelor's, master's, and doctorate. Then after that, delete and all that. But MPhil will be completely ruined out, complete ban. Having told all these things about the basic things about, I accept that I have not given the full details of national education policy. I am giving only the gist, which are relevant, which are important for immediate attention. I have tried to only focus on that. Now, what the university or colleges or teachers or students are supposed to do to achieve this goal within the fixed target by 2035, by 2040, or even before that, how to go for that. So see, the first thing is that imaginative and flexible curricular structure with a credit transfer facility. Those institutions, though they don't have any flexible curriculum, they don't have any credit facility, they immediately go for flexible curriculum and start their credit facility, credit courses and all that. UGC already have told that you have to design your curriculum given to credit system, different credit for different courses and different paths. And this will be not only regular, it is told imaginative also. That means sky is the limit. You can think which kind of program you want, which kind of program is required, which kind of program will be good for the development of the nation, which kind of program will be good for the development of society. So any program you can go right from organic farming to the sky watching or whatever it may be. So imaginative and flexible curricular structure and credit facility, this is the first thing that any higher education institute has to take it out, whether it is college, whether it is university. They have to do it. Then we have to change accordingly. Design of undergraduate 3-4 year program with multiple exit facility, as we discussed now, that all our bachelor program will have to redesign for 3 year or 4 year with multiple exit facility. If you are putting exit, that means you are giving certificate, diploma, and degree, and 1 year, 4th year as a research. So whole system will be framed newly according to that 3-year program, 4-year program, 4 year with research, 3 year with certificate, diploma, and degree. Then framing system for compulsory internship, as I told you that this is must. This is must for all education system, that learner must go for internship. So each and every program must have inbuilt internship. This internship, 1 year, 6 months, whatever it may be, depending on the university, but it must be there. until the internship is completed, it will have certain credit. Until this credit is there, he or she will not get any degree. This is must. Please remember, internship is must. Without internship, there will be no degree, nothing like that. And then, of course, establishing of academic bank of credit, as we discussed now, because the boy will learn something music, something history, something Sanskrit or mathematics. So different department will have different type of courses. They will have different examinations. They will get a different scores, and all scores will has to be submitted at one place. So that will be a system developed by the higher education institutions, maybe university, maybe college, that there will be academic bank of credit with each student based on his enrollment number or roll number or whatever the criteria you choose it. There will be a tabulation chart of sort of things that this from where and all that, and then you can use it in the final. So this will be portability. This can be portable. Physics department can ask for the Sanskrit degree, or Sanskrit can ask for the sports credit. Because if you want to go to final major as a sports, then sports department asks for this credit from the Sanskrit and physics. If you want to go for Sanskrit major, then Sanskrit will ask for the credit for the sports and physics, like that. So this will be portable. Portability is there. The free portability, great portability. And this well understood system. Similarly for master degree program, development master program, like 1 year, 2 year, not 3 actually, it's to 5 year, not 3 year, 5 year. So 1 year, 2 year, 5 year master program, we have to define it. As already we discussed it there. Then very gist of the thing is that the incubation center. Now also you might be aware that after this national education policy, the national science, technology and innovation policy is in circulation. People are giving feedback for that, and it will be soon passed by the parliament and other things, and it will start. So science, technology and innovation. The science, technology we have covered in this whole system of our education. The innovation is one thing. For innovation, we have put a trend setter, that is the internship, or that is with the practical behavior, or the laboratory setup, or something like that. But where to put his own brain, his huge talent, his own potential. So that is, Sam Pitroda used to tell, the Tod Ford Jod Kendra. He had a concept that bring some things from Kawadiwala, put it there, ask this local students to come there, let them break it, let them add it, let them put it together and so that. This is Tod Ford and Jod. This is how the innovation goes on. The people get innovative when do we handle and all that. So it is necessary to start up incubation center at each institution of higher education level, or even a school level also. If you put the incubation center, then the learners can come there, they can put their any absurd idea, whatever it may be, they put their idea, they try to change the idea into concept, and then go. You can ideate, incubate, implement. No. So idea, then incubation, and then implementation. So the 3 I's will be there. So the startup innovation center is must. Otherwise, you are not able to bring the people, the learner who will be innovative, who can bring innovation. So we have to put the innovation center into there. Then our Prime Minister says that vocal for local. We all know vocal for local. Vocal for local is not a phrase actually. Basically, this is the Atmanirbharta. This is vocal for local. We know we have local products. Muzaffarpur lychee is very famous. Everybody knows. Bhagalpur silk is very famous. Everybody knows. This is local. But they had not been marketed into that. The Madhubani painting is very famous. But they partially made global. We have to make these things global. If quality is good, people appreciate it. It is providing entrepreneurship to the area, bringing economic development into the area. We should be vocal for that. So all the local things, whatever it may be, whether it's culture or product or system or process, whatever it may be, if local is good, you must be vocal for that. So every university, every institution of higher learning must identify their local product for which they can be vocal. They can make it global. So vocal for local, make it global, like that. This journey will go like that. So please identify your local things. I again told you, local culture, local tradition, local product, local process, whatever may be. It may be how to enhance shelf-life of jelly, like that. Whatever it may be. If it is good, it can go. It is sellable, it is marketable, it will be beneficial. So this vocal for local is for moving towards the Atmanirbhar Bharat. It is necessary. We have to identify our own potential, and this potential we have to take to the rest part of the world. So this is there, and for that, if necessary, go for vocational education program. If you see that there is a much more demand for Madhubani painting and there are very few artists who are doing that, start some vocational program at university level, at college level. Let the people learn there. Let they earn better from there, and like that. So this is how you are using the vocal for local slogan, and so on. So vocational education will be very helpful in making vocal for local to things, making the things global. Then strengthening the research ecosystem. Most of the universities, if you look at the world level, they are equally good in research and teaching. Many things, a very good level research is coming from the very good level university who are good in teaching also. They have a good teacher also, good learner also, like that. So that means a research ecosystem is needed. What is this ecosystem? The learned professors, good laboratories, innovative ideas, inquisitive brain of students. If you combine all these things together, this is what the research ecosystem there. As I told you, the government is setting up a special grant commission there, a higher level, and then there will be National Research Foundation for funding. Apart from that, there will be funding like ICR, IAMR, or like that ICCR. So many things they will be providing as they are doing it. So funding will be not there for the ideas which are really scalable, transferable, and can bring the economic growth. So let us think onto that. Let us strengthen the research ecosystem. Let us make the brain inquisitive. Let us develop ourselves as a teacher. Let us get updated into the new things and there. So all these things put together, they will make a research ecosystem. We have to do it. There is no escape from this. So strengthening the research ecosystem. Then, of course, we should be accountable for everything, not only for accounts that the audit department is lacking. Now, students are also giving feedback for the teacher, and the teacher are also filling their personal appraisal and things and that. This is accountability. So this is the self-appraisal. So that is why everything should be transparent for the self-governance. So this is good governance. So good governance includes everything. For a higher education system, good governance includes the administration, the finance, the examination and results, the teaching, the students, the admission, the placement, extension activities, university social responsibility. All these things put together form good governance. So we have to develop a good, transparent self-governance system. This is a self-governance system. Nobody will come and say, do like that. If someone is coming and telling us do like that, then we are full. We are the learned society. We are from the university. We are the torch bearer. People follow us. So we have to be self-governed system. And this will be innovative governance system, good governance system that will give lesson to the rest of the society. And then, of course, resource is very important thing. I told you there may be funding agency, this and that. Yet there are so many systems from where we can mobilize the resources. One very common example is that you can see the big institutions like IIT, IIM. They have mobilized their alumni. They have the big institutions made by the alumni. Then there are systems, there are societies, there are NGOs, there are Lions Club, or international governments, bilateral cooperations, lot of program, DST, DSC, DVT, CSR is running. They are national level exchange, international level exchange, and so on. Then if you are having a good idea, good flow, good credibility, then finance is not going to be a crunch. So we have to mobilize external financial resources. Why I'm saying external? Because we have something internal like fees, exams and fee, government grant, and so on and so on. But this is a bigger, very bigger. We have to go for the external resource mobilization also. This external financial resource, this external human resource, this external learner resource. So all possible resources we have to identify, we have to mobilize, including financial resources. And then we have to have a watch on the global issues of whether it is climate, whether it is biodiversity, or it is water scarcity, or this is organic farming, whatever it may be. What brings society happy? We all know happiness index. It includes many things. But what are things that make people happy, society happy? increases happiness index, it should come from good education system. So education should be ultimately destined to bring increase the happiness index of any area of any nation or like that. So I think I stop here. Thank you very much for patiently hearing, and I am here to answer the question if you want. Thank you. Thank you.
हाँ म्यूट है हाँ yes thank you Professor Verma for your excellent presentation and well thought giving the entire spectrum of the things to come in future and national education policy in such elaboration you have explained. We are thankful to you, and I hope that our students who happen to form the basis of the next generation developments, so they must have gained some insights that how they have to perform, how they have to utilize the maximum facilities or maximum potentiality of their own and the system. So I think very informative lecture you gave Prabhat. We are thankful that you, in the shortest possible time, you spared your valuable time to us, and we hope that sometime in the future we will again. Thank you very much. Now, Dr. B.R. Jha, session must be open for the students. If they have some queries, it will be better that their queries should be discussed. Dr. B.R. Jha. बच्चाराम जी जरा स्टूडेंट्स को मौका दीजिए कुछ क्वेश्चन पूछने का स्टूडेंट हाँ स्टूडेंट से पूछा जाए कि यदि उनको कोई कंफ्यूजन है वो एक स्टूडेंट प्लीज कोई ऐसा क्वेश्चंस मन में उठता है तो आप प्लीज शेयर करें
हेलो सर गुड आफ्टरनून सर
हाँ बताएं
सर स्टूडेंट्स लोग को सर
शेयर योर नेम फर्स्ट
सर आई एम शक्ति केसरी
ओके गुड
सर स्टूडेंट्स लोग को सर स्टूडेंट्स लोग को लैंग्वेज प्रॉब्लम हो सकता है सर जैसे कि हम लोग यूनिवर्सिटी में अलग अलग स्टेट से स्टूडेंट्स आए हैं तो उन लोग को लैंग्वेज प्रॉब्लम भी हो सकता है सर अगर हम लोग एक ही लैंग्वेज में वो मतलब कि उस स्टेट के लैंग्वेज में सिर्फ हम लोग अगर पढ़ाई करें तो?
नहीं, देखिए, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि उसी लैंग्वेज में पढ़ाया जाएगा, उस लैंग्वेज में भी पढ़ाया जाएगा, है ना? इसलिए आप उसको गलत इंटरप्रिटेशन ना करें। ऐसा नहीं है कि आप दूसरे स्टेट से आए, इंडिया तो बहुत बड़ा देश है और बहुत सारे भाषाएं बोली जाती हैं हर अलग जगहों पे, सभी भाषाओं का उतना ही सम्मान है। ये होगी सुविधा कि अगर कोई बच्चा अगर ये कहता है कि नहीं हमें हिंदी अच्छे समझ में आ रही है, तो जो संबंधित शिक्षक होंगे वो हिंदी में भी पढ़ाएंगे और इंग्लिश में भी पढ़ाएंगे अगर पढ़ाने का मन करे तो। मैंने पहले आपसे कहा कि लर्नर सेंट्रिक है ये टीचर की मर्जी नहीं है, ये छात्र की मर्जी है और पूरा सिस्टम छात्र पे बेस्ड है। अगर मेजोरिटी छात्र ये चाहती है कि हमारा जो है ये कोर्स हिंदी में हो सकता है कि 2 शिफ्ट में चलेगा, वो एक शिफ्ट में हिंदी मीडियम चलेगा, एक शिफ्ट में इंग्लिश मीडियम चलेगा, जैसे स्कूलों में होता है।
तो कल टेस्ट ले लेंगे।
आप इसको गलत ना समझे, ठीक है?
Mr. Hello, I hope that you must have got your answer, but
yes,
let me clarify a bit further that the concept is based on bilinguality. So there must have 2 subject options, one English, another the state language. So both the languages have to be taken care of, and all the student-centric problems are addressed very well in this new education policy. You have to understand them, you have to prove yourself there, and you must be a knowledge seeker in true sense. Then this policy will be more successful. Otherwise, simply taking the degree and going to the job market will not yield much results. Thank you. Any other question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So mechanisms have to be devised to address the problems of each and every section of the society. Next, Dr. Nitish Priyadarshi, may I request you to have some of your questions ready? Dr. Nitish Priyadarshi.
सर, अभी तो हम सुन रहे हैं सभी का, अभी तो सब केवल नॉलेज हम गेन कर रहे हैं, वर्मा जी से, आपसे, डॉक्टर BR झा जी से।
I think enough information have been passed on. मेन कैरियर ऑफ दिस स्कीम आप ही लोग होने वाले हैं।
वर्मा जी के एक बात से मैं बिल्कुल सहमत हूँ, that he told us that about the local language being used, जो कि बच्चों को ज्यादा फायदा करेगा। ये हमने देखा था कि जो हमारी जितने भी पुरानी किताबें हैं, वेद हुआ, ये सब रशिया, जर्मनी वगैरह में उनके अपने लैंग्वेज में ट्रांसलेट हुआ, और कई जर्मन्स और रशियंस को हमने देखा और चाइनीज में देखा कि वो अपने किताब को अपनी मातृभाषा में
पर्टिकुलरली रशियन
को समझेंगे। दुर्भाग्य है कि इंग्लिश हम लोग को समझाना पड़ता है इंग्लिश में, क्योंकि सारी बुक्स इंग्लिश में ही आ रही है, कि हिंदी में भी, और हिंदी में जो किताबें अभी आई हैं जियोलॉजी में खासकर, जो अपना सब्जेक्ट है, वो बहुत क्लिष्ट हिंदी में लिखा हुआ है, तो बहुत से बच्चे नहीं समझ पाते। तो मुझे लगता है कि इसको और सरल किया जाए इस पॉलिसी के चलते, तो मुझे लगता है कि फायदा होगा। ठीक,
प्रोफेसर वर्मा, आप कुछ
इसमें क्या कमेंट करूं मैं? बात सही है, वो जो चीजें हैं ज्यादातर उनकी मदर लैंग्वेज में है, रसिया हो, जापान हो, कहीं भी हो। हमारे यहाँ हमने अपनी टेक्स्ट बुक नहीं बनाए, रिसोर्स मटेरियल नहीं बनाए अपने भाषाओं में, जो बनाया है उसको बहुत क्लिष्ट कर लिया है। जो हमारा जो
ग्रेट गैप,
हाँ, हमारा जो शब्दावली आयोग है, वो शब्दावली आयोग वालों ने क्वालिटी कंट्रोल कर लिया। नहीं भाई, हिंदी भी अच्छी होनी चाहिए भाई, लोगों को समझ में आए चाहे नहीं समझ में आए, अच्छी हिंदी होना चाहिए भाई। हम भाषा थोड़ी पढ़ रहे हैं, हमें तो सब्जेक्ट पढ़ना है। तो जैसा भी हो, कोशिश करना चाहिए सिंप्लीफाई करने का। और हम टीचरों की जिम्मेदारी भी है कि अधिक से अधिक संख्या में रिसोर्स पैदा करें, उससे चाहे बुक्स हो चाहे मटेरियल हो, उसकी भाषा में लिखें ताकि लोगों को फायदा हो। थैंक यू।
Dr. Chakradhar Mahato. Dr. Chakradhar Mahato is here. Dr. Chakradhar Mahato. Is he with us? Okay, fine. No, he has left. You can talk to some CR. Acharam ji, you can talk to some CR.
Hello, sir.
Anupriya.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Devashish here.
Devashish, yes.
Yes, sir. So myself Devashish Singh, sir.
Yes. What is your query?
सर, जिस तरीके से प्रमोद सर ने हमें काफी अच्छे तरीके से बताया, और उसके लिए सर को थैंक यू करना चाहता हूँ। हेलो।
हाँ
जी सर, जिस तरीके से सर ने कहा कि हमें जैसे हमारे प्री स्कूल में हमें बहुत कंफ्यूजन रहती थी कि हम आगे के फ्यूचर के लिए क्या सोचे। तो अभी जो न्यू एजुकेशन पॉलिसी आई है तो उससे हमें ये मददगार साबित होगी कि हमें अपना आत्मज्ञान पर ज़्यादा फोकस देना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हम देखते हैं कि हमारे जो स्टूडेंट है स्कूल टाइम में वो काफ़ी कंफ्यूजन रहते थे कि हमें आगे फ्यूचर में क्या करना चाहिए क्या नहीं। तो अभी जो एजुकेशन पॉलिसी आई है तो उसमें ये जानने को मिल रहा है कि उस पर ज़्यादा फोकस होगा कि हम अपना खुद के एबिलिटी पे ज़्यादा काम करें और उस पर काम करके एट फ्यूचर हम ज़्यादा अच्छे से वर्क कर सकते हैं। So yes, this is very essential for us. So yes, sir. That's all.
Dr. B.R. Jha, Dr. B.R. Jha, I have to add something to Devashish.
Yes, sir.
So Devashish,
yes, sir.
This is a unique opportunity for the persons who have got the creative background.
Yes, sir.
You see, in the National Education Policy, there is a provision of placement of an artist in every higher educational institutes who can help you develop yourself with creativity. So an artist has to be deployed in all higher education institutes as per the new education policy. So it is a wonderful situation. Okay?
Yes,
and you happen to be a great artist, so that's why it is for your satisfaction. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you, sir.
बहुत ही अच्छा है ये पूरा प्रोग्राम फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी का आपके लिए बनाया गया है, पूरा फ्लेक्सिबल है।
सर बस दुख इस बात की होती है कि सर जिस टाइम में मतलब अभी तो सर अभी लागू नहीं हुई है पॉलिसी, तो इस वजह से थोड़ा दुख लगता है कि हमारी जो अपकमिंग जनरेशन आने वाली है उसके लिए बहुत अच्छा साबित होगा। तो यस, थैंक यू सर फॉर योर
Thank you.
For the implementation, discussions are going on, and very soon it will be launched. Since education happens to be a concurrent list subject, the state government as well as the central government both have to be considerate for implementation. So we will have to wait for some time, but things will be implemented. Now we can Dr. B.R. Jha. Dr. A.C. Pandey is head of the Department of School of Land Resources in Central University of Jharkhand.
Oh, good.
Professor Pandey, are you here? He may have left. Okay. So let us be very thankful to our resource person, all the participants, all the faculties, interactive session and learning lots of inputs from a person like Professor Verma. Thank you for enlightening us on the national education policy, particularly for higher education sector. Dr. B.R. Jha.
Thank you. Thank you, Jaji. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Professor Verma. Yeah, रिकॉर्ड हो गया. नाउ आपका परमिशन हो तो हम लोग इसको क्लोज करें. कोऑर्डिनेटर साहब. No, I think Professor Verma has left. Let us close the meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.